Women are very disgruntled with the party overall because they just feel like they don't see them. And when a woman tells you that you don't see me, brother, you're in trouble.
Deep trouble. I will say this, not as a retort to it or an argument or anything, but I would say this. You hear a lot of this as well, you know, the RNC has to be racist to do this badly. And I'm going to say that that's not true. What I'm going to say is these guys don't know how to get the white male vote, much less any of these other things.
That may be true.
Okay?
That's
they don't know how to get anybody's vote.
Yeah.
That's how bad they are.
Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson have delivered more black votes to the Democrat Party than any other two human beings probably ever lived.
Right.
Yet, neither one of them have ever been offered an ambassadorship or a cabinet post,
Right.
for that matter.
Right.
Why is that? It's because they treat them the same way that they treat the rest of the black folks.
Sure.
When I'm asked about, well, how come there's so many more black people in the Democrat Party than in the Republican Party? The answer that I always relay is this. When you look at a plantation, you see many more black faces on a plantation, especially in the South, than you did free blacks in the North. There were few spotty free blacks who had the courage to run away from that. So the system provides the comfort for them to stay there. And that's what the Democrat Party has done for most black folks. It has provided the comfort for them to stay there because ultimately they're not really looking for freedom. They're just looking for more rice in the bowl.
Yeah.
Softer bed to lay on. You know, that's what they're.
But when you think when you say comfort, and you think about you're going to Detroit, and we were talking about some of the other areas, that's not comfortable.
No.
But it's amazing what people will put up with.
Thinking they have it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and also they don't have the mindset they don't have an ownership mindset. You have a whole generation that was raised in liberal households, liberal institutions like the public school systems that don't even understand the concept of ownership.
Right.
I mean, I can talk to a grade school level class and ask them what they want to be when they grow up. They'll tell you, I want to be a pastor. I want to be a basketball player. Then I ask them the same question. What kind of business you want to own when you grow up? Actually, it's the same question.
Right.
Just a different variation to it. And they'll get stuck. And I say, wait a minute. You want to be a pastor. Now you want to own your own church. She'll look at me like, huh?
Pastor owns a church?
what are you talking about? I don't want to own the church. I just want to be a pastor.
Right.
I don't want to own the basketball team. I want to be a basketball player. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. I don't want to own the hospital.
Right.
You know,
or
so
your own practice.
Just that variation shows the gap to say, wait a minute, we have to do something different here. So now I ask the kids, they hear this all the time from leaders. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be what kind of business you want to own when you grow up?
You know what, Harold? You described the variation between wealth and power.
Right.
Being someone who understands and finally reaches wealth, and someone who is codependent on a paycheck.
That's it.
That's the difference, right?
That is the difference.
Ownership.
And they got people that just they can't fathom the fact that they can own a refinery.
You can own it.
That's what I was saying earlier.
What's up, Trey?
Let's own
C.L.
this.
Bryant, my pleasure to meet you.
Okay. All right.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Charles.
C.L. Bryant, my pleasure to meet you.
Good to see you.
Hey, Charles. You good? I'm good.
And if in fact they are not understanding that at that age, and then they get to high school, about to graduate from college, and they still haven't understood it.
Right.
The opportunity is lost.
Right.
Opportunity is lost.
That's what I was saying. Like I said, just own it ourselves. And I got a friend now. He just called me the other day. He has 2 degrees that he got from LSU, and he's basically a janitor right now. And he's like, I'm tired of this. And I'm like, well, we need to do our own thing. I said, you got business management and development skills. I have the PR skills. We should go on our own business and go it ourselves. And this way you don't have to worry about you make your own money. You make your own way. You become self-reliant. And then, like I said, in the end, people will come to you and hopefully give you money. But like I said, they don't want to. They just want to be worker bees. And there ain't nothing wrong with getting a good paycheck. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, like I said, I have my own business, but if somebody say you can work here, you make X amount of dollars, that's good, and I can stay on my side. But if that gets bigger, I don't need you.
You know what took that away?
Thank you.
Technical education in schools.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a technical skill,
Teaching people a trade.
you can think. You say, wait a minute, I can either. And then a lot of people, I hear this here in the States that there's a dumbed down education. So wait a minute now.
Yeah.
MIT is a technical college.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, Louisiana Tech, Virginia
Georgia
Tech.
Right.
And when you have a technical skill, you can either go into the workforce, directly into the workforce for yourself. Just put a business, even a prisoner that's taught a skill can actually go to the library as soon as he paroles out, get business cards and say, call his name, T-Bone's Welding Service.
Right.
Think about that.
Exactly right.
Think about that.
Well,
with a
there
skill,
was-
a man with a skill.
There was a prisoner that came out of Florida prison. I can't remember the name of the facility there, but he was a welder, and he was a part of the top 20 that I was telling you about.
Yes.
And every month, along with the rest of us,
Right.
he brought his $3,000.
See that?
But he was a prisoner. He had been. He was free man.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But he had started a welding business.
Yes.
And brother, when I tell you that he was doing well, I mean, he was actually contracting business with the state because he had started in a state facility.
Come on now. He had all the relationships.
He had all of the relationships. And he's still killing it.
That's it.
Yeah, matter of fact. And so, yeah, that's the key. That's the key. But what you described in them not understanding ownership and codependency on a paycheck. And again, nothing wrong with that. I mean, man, if you're knocking down a nice paycheck and Mr. Charlie's paying it, so what? Okay, you still, but we gotta learn how to reinvest.
Because you can't pass along that position to legacy. What we don't realize is legacy. You can't pass on the senior vice president of 3M to your child.
No,
you can't pass that
Can't do
on.
it.
So you have to invest the money that you're getting from 3M and IBM to rent houses, buying property, doing stuff, income producing type of investment
Right.
that you can
Yeah, 'cause
pass
you
on
build that
legacy. Right.
That's all it's like. Let's all get together, make some business, put it towards Southern, and you can make that area, the Scotlandville area, better because, like I said, you can employ people inside, and they might build something they own. They get their line of credit, they get their business loans, and they do something else. But at the same time, it stays up. Like I said, LSU, all the places are there. They're always going to be there for the next 10, 20 years, as long as LSU football do good. But at the same time, they have a built-in customer base because they got students coming in every semester. Transfer do the same thing as Southern. And we can rebuild the neighborhood, make the neighborhood better. That might bring up the housing even better if we have low crime.
It'll make Southern a more attractive university.
University.
The alumni, though,
Alumni don't do nothing at Southern. I don't care.
that's the difference in alumni at Southern, alumni at LSU. The alumni at LSU is strong. And I went to a school for a short time over in Dallas. It was called Bishop College. Bishop had produced some of the greatest preachers that the country has known. From Sidney Gardner to Harry Blake, great preachers. Our alumni we let it die. We let that college blow away. And I have a feeling, you take like Graham, they have gone through 3 presidents in 10 years over the money.
Yeah. And the accreditation has been an issue because of the money.
Exactly. And so, hello, brother. How are you? And so that, again, we have not handled money right. In fact, we have it's not attitude, but we have a bad definition. We define what money is in a very ill way, in an unhealthy. We have an unhealthy relationship with capital, black folks. And I have seen that not just, well, here in Louisiana, it's prevalent, but that's almost a universal thing in this country.
Systematic. Yes.
among us is that we have an unhealthy relationship with money. And so the Republican ideal of individualism many times is stymied because you have to, that's capital driven. The free market is a capitalist system. And so if you have an unhealthy relationship, almost generic, almost in your DNA with the money, you almost are automatically repelled from a Republican point of view. And a Democrat codependent point of view is more appealing to your soul than that of a free market. And so friends, we have a monumental job ahead of us, and that's to change our relationship with the idea of capitalism.
But here's the thing, it's not hopeless.
No, it's not
Because
hopeless, no.
you still have, within the culture, a tremendous appreciation for the finer things. You know, the guy who, some of them are bad people, but the guy who's got the really nice car, drives around the neighborhood, everybody looks at him, right? The guy who makes it big in whatever. Those are people that, they do get looked up to. And they are an icon within the black community, the culture, whatever you call it. And the trappings of wealth that they bring to the table, everybody still looks at that. The question, where I see it, is you have a disconnect between the means of producing those trappings. How do you get there? And I think the culture glorifies a guy who might be a singer or a rapper or a basketball player or whatever it might be.
Or a crack dealer.
Well, or a crack dealer.
Let's look at that. Let's look at this.
But see, that crack dealer, that guy is practicing
Entrepreneurship.
absolute unbridled capitalism.
He's an entrepreneur.
We don't like him. We don't think he's good. But
He's a
that
small
guy
business
is.
There you go.
That guy has a very similar mentality to the robber barons of old.
It absolutely does.
Okay.
And he takes risk.
Of course he
He's
does.
self-motivated.
He employs
He's
people.
everything I would be looking for as a corporate executive.
Right. Except for
He's a crack dealer.
for the milieu that he lives in.
Because he has all the qualities that makes him successful on the street.
And
Yeah.
he's a leader.
He is a leader.
Yeah.
And he's a risk taker.
Right.
And that's the key to success in this country. It's being able to take risk. Yeah.
But he's been conveniently turned into an outlaw and against the system.
Exactly.
He can't be redeemed in the eyes of most people, and in his own eyes, maybe not.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
he's not being allowed to lead in the classroom because he's different from other students.
He has a drive to make
That's
money.
I want to piggyback on what you were saying. There's some good stuff, and also with Scott. Actually, Scott was hitting on it too, as well. I believe that integration, and I want to touch on that, it's a contributing factor, a strong contributing factor to the reason why black people don't give back. We've always had the talented 10th, but they always forgot about the needy 90. Now the thing is that when we had integration, we needed it when Martin Luther King did a courageous thing, and he did the right thing. However, integration didn't teach the people that were able to leave to give back. The reason why we had integration was because we were being taxated without being represented. You had white leaders leading black communities.
Interesting.
The resources were always on the white side. So he pushed for integration to access those resources. Now we have black leaders representing the black community, and we still in the same boat. And that's the thing is that we have to make sure that we teach how to teach the Southern University alumni when they graduate to get this great education in engineering, get this great education in nursing, get this great education in attorney, being an attorney, to say, you know what, give back.
Exactly. The content of character tour, which we launch Well, actually, this is a part of the launching here, and brothers, you're going to be and sisters, you're going to be a part of this idea, and I'm glad that you started that, Harold, because now I can share with you what this is about. King's whole agenda was hijacked by Jesse and Al and Andrew Young. It was just hijacked. But the content, when King said he had a dream that one day his 4 little children would be judged by the content of their character and the color of skin, this is what he meant. That one day their contribution, as you were saying, to their community, to their college, would be the factor by which they were judged. Not that they would be given anything because, as Frederick Douglass said, they were Negroes, but because they had the character to bring something to the table. And you're judged by what you plop down on the table as compared to whatever he has to put down on the table. We have always been able to compete. I'm 57 years old. I remember I grew up in Shreveport. I remember the black and white water fountain. I remember Negro Day at the fair. And that was the only day of the whole 2-week run, the Louisiana State Fair in Shreveport, where Negroes, as we would call then, could go to the fair. And I'm going to tell you white folks something. I thought that y'all control the weather because it always seemed to rain on Negro Day. I didn't understand that as a child.
I wish I could control the weather.
And so if we were to understand that there are some things that we're the greatest success story that the country can actually point to. We survived slavery, and we're here. We are sitting here with some sons and daughters of former slave owners, sons and daughters of former slaves. We are the culmination of what he did envision. However, what Jesse and Al want us to continue to believe is that the victim mentality of slavery should be perpetual on into the future. Passing that down to Detroit. You were saying, Scott was talking about Detroit in 61, before 61, the richest city in the world.
Per capita.
Per capita. The richest black community in the world before 1961. After 1961, Democrats took over. And they have not relinquished the power over Detroit to this day. And now Detroit
Literally in ruins.
is literally in ruins. You brought up the fact that you show Hiroshima, 1945. You show Detroit, 2013.
They look similar.
That looks similar. Huh?
Similar. Except when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima back in 1945, today, Hiroshima is a garden spot.
Recovered.
It has recovered.
It's a
And
beautiful
Detroit
modern city.
See if I can
Is a
find it.
cesspool.
I'll show you a picture of Hiroshima.
So what is the difference here?